What's up, kings and queens? Today, let's talk about
self-awareness.
First, let's talk about that one person who is so quick to criticize and point out everybody else's mistakes, but never can see their own. Then, let's talk about how uncomfortable it is to point out your own mistakes, the reason most people choose to pick on everyone else. Finally, let's talk about how self-awareness can lead to the purest form of change. Let's get in the bag. Welcome back to another Motivation Monday. Now, as I said, let's get into the conversation of self-awareness. First, let's talk about the individual who has all the advice in the world. He knows everything. He's done everything. He's seen it all. Anytime there's a problem, there's a situation going wrong, he's right there with a solution, with some sort of
Constructive criticism.
I know that it's just so easy to give advice, isn't it? It's very easy to speak words without action, without real knowledge. It's very easy to just say something but not really know what the true outcome will be. That's the easiest thing in the world. I'm asking, stop potentially misleading and get out there and lead. Because to criticize all but oneself is to simply pass judgment. Now, as I said, that same individual who is quick to give the world advice couldn't save himself if he had to get out of a paper bag. You know why? He's gonna say,
it was because of this.
It was because of that.
It was because of him.
It was because of you.
It was because I ain't got no money.
it was because I ain't got enough people. He's gonna come up with 101 different excuses as to why it did not come to fruition, and not one of those excuses is gonna be calling out
His self.
Or
Herself.
You know what makes self-awareness so uncomfortable? Because we are always looking at the negative when we decide to criticize. When you criticize others, you're always looking at the worst of the worst. So when you criticize yourself, you're looking at the same things, and it's hard to tell yourself that you can't, or you're trash, or you suck, or you need to do better, or you need to learn more. Nobody wants to tell themselves that. But it's so easy to tell everybody else that. So I'm gonna suggest this. Instead of telling yourself that you're trash, tell yourself you gotta get better. Instead of telling yourself you can't, tell yourself you can when you know how. Instead of telling yourself you don't know nothing, tell yourself you just gotta learn. Because we can overcome anything. And that goes for everybody. The most uncomfortable condition in the world is to be aware of one's folly. Let's talk about the purest form of change. Because there's all kinds of change. Most should know time creates change. Other people can manipulate your mind to create change.
Horrific events.
blissful events.
Create change.
Chemical change.
Natural change.
There's all kinds of change. Yet, in my opinion, the purest form of change is simply that comes from self-awareness. The change that we create on our own. Not the change that comes from growing up and your mind maturing. The change that comes from you seeing something that needs to change, figuring out what that is, why it needs to change, and how to change it. If you cannot answer these 3 questions when it comes to your change, then you had nothing to do with that change. And that, to me,
Is impurity.
never forget, self-awareness is the catalyst to the purest form of change. Now, I know I've said a lot. This was a pretty heavy subject to me because self-awareness is key to many of the greats who have accomplished immaculate things. With that being said, I hope those of you who are still so quick to criticize everyone but themselves, I hope you understand the detriment that you're putting yourself in. I hope you understand that it may be time for you to get a little comfortable with your mistakes, for you to get a little comfortable with your weakness, become familiar with that weakness. Start to chip away at it, chip, 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 until there is nothing but diamond, hard body, because I know that you can accomplish that. And in order to accomplish that pure, glistening form of change, we must be self-aware. Too often do we blame others for our mistakes, and too often do we task others to help us make change. That I shall allow no more. My bag is empty, but I hope that I hit somebody right here.
On the left side.
And I hope everything was felt. I hope everything was needed, and it came at the right time. I ain't gonna hold you too much longer, cause you know that's just about all we got today for Motivation Monday. Please, please, please like, share, subscribe, drop a little comment, tell us how you feel. And if you looking for last week's juice, you can find it right up here. I'm out.